The warning blazed across the stars. It wasn't a diplomatic message. It wasn't a plea. It was a promise. 1. The war humanity didn't start, but would finish. The Drakthol Dominion had been crushing civilizations for 3,000 years. They were warlords, planet breakers. Their fleets swallowed systems whole, reducing entire worlds to cinders. No one resisted for long. Until they met humans. For 6 months, Earth had been on the defensive. Orbital bombardments. Assault landings. Entire cities turned to rubble. The United Sol Defense Forces fought like demons, but the enemy just kept coming. Drakthol warships outnumbered human fleets 50-1. The Council of Earth had tried diplomacy. Tried surrendering key territories. Tried everything. It wasn't enough. And so humanity sent its final message. A transmission short and simple, echoing across every star system. Stop attacking or we stop pretending to be civilized. The Drakthol laughed. Humanity was weak. Primitive. A species that clung to diplomacy and treaties. What could they possibly do? They had no idea. 2. A change in the battlefield. Fleet Commander Gorak Thun of the Drakthol Dominion snarled as his war barge, the Tyrant's Maw, carved through the asteroid belt surrounding Proxima Outpost. Another worthless human colony. Another easy victory. Or so he thought. Admiral, a nervous officer chittered, mandibles twitching. Something is wrong. Thun's 6 eyes glowed with annoyance. Clarify. The officer gulped. We are not detecting any transmissions. Thun frowned. That was strange. Human distress signals always flooded the stars during an invasion. What of the planetary defenses? The officer hesitated. There are none. No anti-orbital turrets. No fighter squadrons. No surface-to-space missiles. Silence. Thun's mandibles clicked. Deploy ground forces. Kill anything that moves. The Drakthol assault craft screamed down toward the planet. And then, the world beneath them erupted. 3. The trap they never saw coming. From orbit, Proxima Outpost had looked abandoned. It wasn't. It was waiting. The moment the first Drakthol dropships breached the atmosphere, the sky itself turned against them. High-orbital kinetic platforms, hidden in dead zones, masked from scanners, activated at once. Metal rods, each the size of a skyscraper, fell like the hammer of a vengeful god. A single impact hit with the force of a nuclear explosion. Hundreds of Drakthol ships were vaporized instantly. The rest plummeted in flames, smashing into the surface with catastrophic force. Admiral Thun watched in shock as his entire invasion force was erased before it even reached the ground. But the humans weren't done. Because the moment the surviving ships crashed, the doors of hell opened. For no more mercy. The first Drakthol survivors staggered from the wreckage of their landing craft, dazed, their armor dented and scorched. Then they heard it. A low, grinding hum. A Drakthol warrior looked up, just in time to see something massive emerge from the smoke. A Titan-class war mech. Not just one. Hundreds. Towering machines, each over 100 feet tall, painted in the black and crimson of the Earth Defense Corps. Their armor was thick as battleship hulls. Their eyes burned red. And they were angry. A single voice broadcasted across the battlefield. You wanted war? You got it. The mechs opened fire. Drakthol warriors, genetically engineered super soldiers, conquerors of 1,000 worlds, were torn apart like insects. High-frequency railguns ripped their bodies in half. Plasma cannons melted their armor like wax. They tried to fight back. But the humans weren't playing fair anymore. 5. The sky burns. In orbit, Fleet Commander Thun watched his ground forces get annihilated. Deploy reinforcements, he roared. A fleet of 2,000 Drakthol warships surged forward. And then, the stars exploded. Stealth corvettes. Cloaked battleships. Mass drivers hidden inside asteroid fields. The Drakthol fleet had been ambushed before they even knew they were in danger. Human dreadnoughts, massive, monstrous, covered in armor like fortress walls, pushed forward, guns thundering. For every human ship that fell, 10 Drakthol warships were obliterated. Thun screamed in rage. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Humans were supposed to be weak. Not this. Not monsters. His last desperate message flickered to his command ships. Pull back. Retreat. Get us. The Tyrant's Maw exploded before he finished his sentence. 6. The last transmission. Across the stars, the Drakthol panicked. For the first time in history they were losing. More than losing. They were being eradicated. And then a single message echoed across every Drakthul communication channel. A video feed. A human general standing before a backdrop of burning Drakthul wreckage. His eyes were cold, unforgiving. "We warned you. We tried playing nice. We tried being civil." He leaned forward. "Now we're done pretending." The message ended, and the war truly began. 1. The escape that wasn't. The Drakthul fleet was burning. The wreckage of thousands of warships floated like corpses in the void. Fires raged inside the shattered hulls of battlecruisers that once terrorized entire empires. Admiral Gorak Thun was dead. His flagship, the Tyrant's Maw, had been obliterated in a single terrifying blast. And now, the survivors were running. Were trying to. The Dominion's remaining ships, crippled and panicking, attempted an emergency retreat. Warp drives spun up. Engines flared. But the humans weren't letting them go. "All ships activate the net." A single order. And the trap sprang shut. 2. The end of Dominion's fleet. For centuries the Drakthul had been the hunters. The unstoppable force. Their fleets descended like a storm, wiping out civilizations before they could even fight back. But they had never fought humans. Not like this. As the Dominion fleet tried to warp away, massive gravitational mines, hidden in the system's asteroid belt, detonated in sequence. A storm of artificial singularities bloomed across space. Each one a tiny black hole. The warp fields of hundreds of Drakthul vessels collapsed instantly. Ships were ripped out of hyperspace mid-jump. The lucky ones were torn apart immediately. The unlucky? They were spaghettified, their hulls stretching into oblivion before collapsing into nothingness. No mercy. The words came cold, broadcasted from the human command carrier, HSF Leviathan. "You wanted war. Now you drown in it." 3. The human fleet moves. The remaining Drakthul vessels, a few hundred out of the original thousands, desperately regrouped. Among them, Warlord Karath, the Dominion's second-in-command, was foaming at the mouth. His four-clawed hands slammed the console. "We must counterattack." An officer hesitated. "We don't have the..." Karath ripped his subordinate's head off. "No excuses. We are Drakthul. We fight to the last." But even he could see the truth. The enemy was unstoppable. Humans had always fought like demons. But now they were fighting with rage. With vengeance. This wasn't just a battle anymore. This was extermination. "Warlord," another officer whispered, eyes full of fear. "We need to retreat. To the Dominion core worlds. Regroup, fortify." Karatha's blood-red eyes gleamed. And for the first time in Drakthul history, he gave the order. "All ships, fall back." For they thought they could escape. The Drakthul fleet pivoted. Engines roared to full power, shields crackling as they desperately punched through the debris field. They were fast. But humanity was waiting. Across the system, hidden inside the ice rings of Proxima 7, a second fleet decloaked. Dreadnoughts. The HSF Titan. The Iron Fist. The Executioner. Monsters of steel and fire. And at their heart, the HSF Ragnarok. A ship built for one purpose. Mass destruction. One simple transmission echoed across the void. "You don't get to run." Then, the bombardment began. 5. Fire and fury. The humans didn't use lasers. They didn't use plasma. They used metal. Mass driver cannons the size of buildings. Electromagnetic acceleration so fast it turned chunks of tungsten into artificial meteors. The first volley hit the Drakthul fleet like the fist of an angry god. Ships detonated instantly as tungsten slugs the size of skyscrapers punched straight through their hulls. The second volley followed. And the third. And the fourth. The Drakthul Armada, once the terror of the galaxy, was shredded in minutes. Bodies floated in space. Fires raged in shattered ships. The Dominion's fleet was gone. And still humanity did not stop. 6. The new strategy, erase them all. Back on Earth, Supreme Commander Reyes watched the battle unfold. He could hear the whispers in the war room. "This is a massacre. They're trying to surrender. Do we accept?" Reyes exhaled, closed his eyes. Then he played the recordings. The ones from before. Cities burning. Billions dead. Children crying in the ashes. He reopened his eyes. And gave the order. No survivors. 7. The warning has been delivered. A final transmission was sent to every remaining Drakthul outpost. A video. A single image. The broken, ruined flagship of Warlord Karath, drifting into a dying sun. Then the words. "We told you to stop. You didn't." Now we stop pretending. The screen cut to black. And across the galaxy the real war began. 1. The aftermath of a massacre. The Proxima 7 battlefield was silent. What had once been the proud Drakthul fleet, an armada capable of burning entire worlds, was now nothing more than drifting wreckage. Bodies. Scrap. Faint echoes of dying transmission signals. On the bridge of the HSF Ragnarok, Supreme Commander Reyes surveyed the destruction. It should have felt like a victory. But it didn't. This wasn't a battle. This was execution. Sir, an officer called. We're detecting distress beacons. Reyes didn't blink. Destroy them. But sir, some of them. I said destroy them. The order was carried out without question. Across the void, the last flickering signals of the Dominion's fleet were silenced. 2. The message of dread. The battle was over. But the war was just beginning. Across the human-controlled systems, fleets mobilized. Shipyards worked without rest. Humanity had never gone on the offensive before. Not like this. Now there would be no peace. Sir, another officer spoke up. We've decrypted Dominion transmissions. Reyes turned. Play them. The war room holograms flickered, displaying the chaotic scenes from the Drakthul core worlds. Panic. Riots. Absolute fear. The unthinkable had happened. The Dominion had lost. And now, they were running. 3. The exodus of a broken empire. For centuries the Drakthul had ruled with iron claws. They had never lost a war. But now, entire colonies were evacuating. Thousands of warlords argued over how to respond. Some screamed for vengeance. Others begged for surrender. And then, a single emergency broadcast was sent from the Drakthul High Council. A desperate plea. A voice, trembling, filled with pure terror. To the Terran Imperium, we acknowledge our crimes. We surrender. Please, show mercy. The message was sent to every human system. But in response? Silence. Then, a single transmission from Earth. You had your chance. Mercy was for before. 4. The first city falls. The human fleet did not stop. The first target, Karak, capital of the Drakthul Dominion. A planet fortified for thousands of years. It had withstood entire invasions. It fell in less than an hour. The humans did not invade. They did not negotiate. They bombarded it from orbit. Cities turned to molten slag. Fortresses crumbled into dust. A billion souls, erased. And above the flames the message was broadcast once more. We warned you. Now there is no surrender. 5. The War Council's final gamble. In the ruins of their empire, the last remaining Drakthul warlords gathered. They had no more fleets. No more armies. Just fear. The humans, one of them whispered. They are worse than we ever were. The room fell into silence. Then a decision was made. The warlords sent one last desperate fleet. Not for battle. For escape. A plan was formed. A secret route into unknown space. A chance to run. To flee before humanity erased them from existence. But before they could act, they received a final message. A simple transmission broadcasted from the heart of the Terran fleet. 6. Humanity's last warning. Across every known system the message was displayed. A single sentence written in blood-red letters. Stop running or we hunt you to the edge of the universe. The Drakthul had no more choices. They could fight and die, or they could run and die later. Either way humanity was coming. And this time, there was no stopping them. 1. No more places to hide. The Drakthul Dominion was gone. Not defeated. Not conquered. Erased. Every stronghold burned. Every fleet shattered. Their mighty empire, once spanning hundreds of worlds, was now nothing but ruins and ghosts. And yet humanity did not stop. The remnants of the Dominion fled to the furthest reaches of space, hoping, praying, that the Terrans would not follow. But prayers meant nothing. Humanity had given its final warning. And now, they were making sure no one forgot it. 2. The last refuge. A single world remained. Threxel 9. A remote planet far beyond the mapped regions of the galaxy. The last hiding place of the Drakthul High Council. Thousands of warlords, leaders and broken remnants of their once proud empire had gathered there. We must send a surrender. A plea. A final attempt at peace. One of them begged. They are not listening. Another roared. But it was already too late. The sky turned black. Then, the humans arrived. 3. No negotiation. No mercy. The HSF Ragnarok led the assault. It was not a battle. It was a massacre. Human dreadnoughts blotted out the sky, unleashing torrents of firepower that split mountains apart. The last remnants of the Dominion's fleet? Obliterated within minutes. Drakthol warriors attempted a last stand. Cities turned into war zones. It didn't matter. Human shock troopers landed, sweeping through the streets like a plague of death. They did not negotiate. They did not hesitate. The orders were clear. No survivors. 4. The final broadcast. As the last city crumbled into fire and ash, a single distress signal was broadcast across the galaxy. The voice of the Drakthol High Chancellor echoed into the void. To any who hear this, the Terrans are not warriors. They are something else. Something worse. Pause. Then his final words. They are not conquerors. They are executioners. Then static. The Dominion was gone. Forever. 5. A warning to the galaxy. Across every star system, every empire, and every species, a single transmission appeared. A message burned into the void itself. We were patient. We were merciful. We gave warnings. Never mistake kindness for weakness. Attack us again. And we stopped pretending to be civilized. The galaxy held its breath. And from that day forward, no empire ever dared to test humanity again. The end. Want more terrifying human dominance? Subscribe for the next unstoppable war.